But first, it just doesn't add up, does it? Victorian Daniel Andrews has enough data, or so he says, to seek a 12-month extension of the state emergency powers that allow him to rule like a dictator. But then he says he doesn't have enough data to tell us what should happen when the current lockdown ends in 2 weeks' time.
What we can be certain of right now, these case numbers are too high for us to open up, and they are still too high for us to put forward a definitive plan.
So decisions 12 months away, sure, all okay. Decisions in 2 weeks' time, impossible. Honestly, this bloke is making it up as he goes along. With more than 1 million Victorians on JobKeeper, making up 2/3 indeed of the Australian total, and with Victorian consumer spending 30% down under the average, and the Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, saying on the weekend, of course, that the damage to the economy and people's mental health is too great not to have a plan for getting out of lockdown, and fast.
If these devastating numbers from Treasury are not enough to bring forward a definitive plan from Daniel Andrews, I don't know what will. This has to be the biggest public policy failure by a state government in living memory.
Melbourne's stage 4 lockdown was meant to end on September 13. No one knows if this will happen. We're not told what things will look like beyond the 13th. Are we talking about stage 3, stage 2, or any mix thereof? When will children go back to school, Premier? What hope does small business have of starting up again? Daniel Andrews said today, I still can't tell you, I won't tell you, but by Sunday, he says, he'll have a plan.
Next Sunday, the 6th of September, we will announce the roadmap to ease the restrictions that we've all been living under. It is too early today to settle that roadmap.
Now, I've been saying for weeks, before governments go into anything like these lockdowns, they must have a plan to come out of them. It's a bit like sending troops into battle. You've got to have a plan for the exit. You know what success looks like. How do you define the win? And then you've got to obviously know what rebuilding looks like afterwards. It's Government 101. You run a 2-track process here. A crisis team, one team managing the immediate so that the day-to-day urgent issues of this pandemic are managed, and another team working on what happens when you wind out of restrictions to schools, businesses, community events like sport and church services, funerals and weddings. Everything that needs to happen to get Victorians back on their feet. Now, none of this is rocket science. It's just Government 101, as I said. Indeed, even the smallest business in the state wouldn't be able to open their front door without some sort of business plan. If they're after a loan, well, the bank could just laugh them out of the branch. But when you're a Labor government, I suppose it's all someone else's money. Well, right now, over 60% of JobKeeper recipients are Victorians. It's taxpayers in other states that are bearing the brunt for the Andrews government's incompetence. Finally, the Federal Treasurer has spoken up, and let's hope it continues.